On the vaccine, no, I got mine yesterday. I got the Pfizer.
How I'll have Pfizer, please.
It's a bit of luxury, innit?
Thank you. What was the after effects?
It's all, I feel like slightly coldy down, but it's not that big a deal, you know. But we all know, right? Like the Pfizer, it's a bit fancy, innit? And the Moderna, that'd be something.
Well, I got the AstraZeneca, so yeah.
What is it? Pfizer? Which one's which? Is the AstraZeneca?
It's the Oxford one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then there's Pfizer,
which is the German one. You'll take it. You'll get better.
Okay. Good. Wow.
That's the tagline.
Yeah. And then you fuck. Come in for your shot. But hang on, there's no needles. It's just my dick. Have you been sexually abused by a German bloke? Oh, Adam, you've had your shot.
The Moderna's. Yeah, I was quite interested in the Moderna because I thought that's the kind of one that you last minute you tell your missus. You go, by the way, babe, I've booked a Moderna. I was like, Moderna, very nice. Moderna. But the AstraZeneca, I think it's brilliantly British though, isn't it? Because it's cheap. Fucking knock it out. You don't need to refrigerate it. It's not all that. Get it in you, son.
Yeah. And you can light your barbecue with it. It's useful.
And it sounds great when a Scouser says it as well.
AstraZeneca. Well, I got... did I tell you this on podcast? I told you, didn't I, when I was driving home?
I was there, yeah. When they called.
No. So this was a couple of weeks ago. So I got the AstraZeneca jab. I get a bit of health anxiety, like quite bad. And I'm always worried about blood clots, heart attacks, and strokes. They're just always on my mind.
He's a right laugh.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I have the same.
I'd had it against me better sort of anxiety judgment.
Yeah.
I got off of it and took it. And then literally 2 days later, they were like 1 in 3 people who get this get a blood clot. And I was like, fuck, no. So for like a week, my health anxiety just went off the rails. So I was driving home from here.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going across the Runcorn Bridge. And here's how I cope with my health anxiety. I distract myself. So if I'm anxious at home, I play FIFA because I'm a typical man. I can't multitask. I can't do 2 things at once. So if I'm playing FIFA, I'm not worried about my health. I can't do both, so it distracts me. Because I was driving home on the route I do twice a week, at least, I was on autopilot, so I could be anxious. So on purpose, I went, I'm going to go the long way home. So instead of going onto the motorway, I went through Speke in Liverpool. I got to traffic lights. And I went, right. And because I'd stopped for a second, I started getting a bit anxious. And I just looked up, and the building next to me has got a big sign on it saying, AstraZeneca. They're trying to keep all their fucking supplies. And I had no idea it was based in Liverpool.
There's a guy being carried out of there on a stretcher as well.
I was like... And it made me not anxious, even though because it was just so ridiculous that I'd gone that way to not think about the blood clots.
No, mate, listen, I think, you know, I had some of that as well. I do suffer from some of that as well. But also I realised that because of my politics as well, and you would naturally associate anti-vax with being right-wing. I don't know why, because a lot of people are against Big Pharma, but I suddenly realised when I said that I'd had it, loads of people that are close to me going, oh, thank God you had that. And I realised everyone just assumed that I wasn't going to get it. But I had a delay for exactly that reason. I had a fear that I'd expressed with a GP about a condition or something. I just had to iron out before I had it. But everyone must be secretly going, he's fucking anti-vax, Geoff's gone anti-vax.
Just waiting.
Then it gets out on the family WhatsApp. It's like, oh, praise the Lord, he's seen the light. I was always going to have it.
We got a question that I actually didn't pull out because they named a certain comic, and I'm not going to do that. So one of the questions was, how do you feel about having lunatics like other comic lumped in with you? And it's sort of on the person mentioned is an anti-vaxxer. Bill Gates is microchipping people. That is seen as right-wing. And there's so many people who see you as the same, isn't there? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's suspect. So you go right-wing comedian. First up, for a long time, people immediately think of the worst right-wing views. So you say that, they get fucking racist, isn't they? And you go like, you're left-wing, so, but he's really lovely. You know, it's the same problem that left and right have generally. Is if you think left-wing, you go, John Lennon, Yoko Ono, you know, never Stalin, right? Yeah. Right-wing is Hitler. So there is this image problem. But it's a spectrum. There are comedians on, you know, a lot of what gets called left-wing comics and centre-left comics, essentially, especially on topical panel shows. You talk about an out-and-out left-wing comic, you know, you might be talking about someone like Alexis Sale, you know, and even as we speak, he's getting into controversy for certain things that he said. So I think that what happens is there's a lot of people that just simply don't like the idea of there being comedy from the right.
By the way, sorry, just because it won't make any sense if I don't big this up at any other point, it has to be now. Have you seen the video of Alexis Sale at the pro-Palestine march in London yesterday? And and he called Keir Starmer a horrible little shitbag, like in front of like thousands of people.
Hey.
He goes, I don't know whether the leader of the opposition's here, the little shitbag. It's so fucking great.
I know where you added horrible as well, clearly, in that. Did little Adam Rowe.
I think he might have said horrible. I think he might have. I don't know.
But that's the thing, isn't it? He's a more like spicy flavour of
Yeah.
left. But the thing about right-wing comics is a smaller palette, so they would naturally think that we all come from the same place. And truth about me, right, is that when I started this, people would say I was edgy, refreshing. It's absolutely none of those things. But I wanted to think that. I wanted to think, yeah, I'm a fucking edgelord, mate, with my views. The truth is, I'm a right-wing centrist dad. That's what I'm 44. Yeah, I vote Conservative and stuff like that. I want to have a nice house, few holidays. You know, I've got sort of material aspirations. And so I think it's the opposite of edgy, but it's just the context.
Yeah, you've made yourself a white, straight minority
I know, it's
in
incredible,
comedy.
isn't it? Yeah.
Like we were talking about it last night. You get booked on panels and bills because you're like, well, Jeff's obviously... he's one of them, isn't he?
He's the diversity booking.
Yeah.
It is quite incredible. But I do think that, like, a lot of people probably have spent a long time saying that, well right-wing people aren't funny. And people don't like to be any evidence that proves them wrong. So if you do something and it's funny, they'll either say, well, he's a character, or pretend that there wasn't a laugh in the room or stuff like that. So there's a group of people who are just never going to accept this because they were always like, well, comedy is our thing. That's the one thing that they can't have. But I just thought, I remember thinking this in 2013, I just thought, it's a bit fucking weird to think that certain humans can't be funny. Because that was once applied to women. It was once applied to... I realize you always play out at it, what is Geoff Norcott saying? He's experienced the same suffering as women in comedy. I'm not.
Yeah. If anything, it's worse, isn't it, for you?
It's anything, it is a lot fucking worse. It is a lot worse.
Inverted snobbery. It's just inverted snobbery, isn't it? Like, well, you're from that. You can't be this.
Yeah.
Is
And I
bullshit.
don't think the country, like, there's been a lot of this debate recently. I don't think the country is sitting there, anyone's going, where's this right-wing comedy vehicle? I don't think anyone's saying that. But I think what they might do is when they watch topical panel show type things, they might think, well, there were certain points of view that I hear very commonly that weren't in that. That's all that needs to change. It doesn't need loads of conservative comedians. It just needs a bit of a broader sweep. If you've got 7 people on a panel show, maybe one of them, and not just me as well. I mean, like, I'd love it to, but it needs to be more people. Just to say, hey, you know what? Maybe chest feeding instead of breastfeeding is a bit of a fucking weird phrase.
Right.
Oh, is that a thing
Is that
now?
the thing?
Yeah.
Is that where you draw the line?
It's yeah, that's what I'm really angry about.
Is that actually a thing?
Yeah, it was NHS have there's been a few tweets. I mean, it's just an example of one of those subjects, and it doesn't mean that this is what I got into this for, was semantics, right? But yeah, they were tweeting stuff, and instead of calling it breastfeeding, they were calling it chest feeding. And I would imagine with most topical panel shows, we know what comedy's like. People will be like, they might dance around that a little bit. So the good thing is, if it's someone like, me or Simon Evans or Alan Cochrane or any other brilliant people, is that they might just represent the other view. That's all. That's literally all it is.
Yeah. That's totally.
Should we talk about chest feeding?
I don't understand why the need for that change in
Isn't
Breast is really offensive.
Yeah. Is it to non-sexualise it, or is it to non-gender?
It's a really liberal thing, isn't it? Surely.
Because mums who were born as men need to chest feed as well, and that's fine. That's fine. Just letting their child suck on their man tit.
Why don't we call it big juicy titty time?
Oh, and that's the other option.
That's what your ma calls it.
Because actually titty...
That feels like it needs a rhythm. Big juicy titty time, big juicy titty time.
And also breast is a medical term. That's the problem. And titty time is titties are... That isn't a medical term. Yeah. That's subjective.
Yeah.
You have man tits.
Yeah, exactly. Titty time.
Titty time. Big juicy titty time. Can see that on a pamphlet from the NHS. Geoff Norcott's new Edinburgh show title. Big juicy titty time. And on the poster, it's just Geoff with his finger on his watch, and then big juicy tits next to him.
I really will.
I like to let people know what a fucking show's about.
and also, I really, because a lot of people say, "What is he like, Roy Chubby Brown?" That will be the moment where I am when I come in with the goggles on, the patchwork coloured thing, big juicy titty time.